I thought I would start my story by talking about my unhealthy and tiring days in Istanbul, so you could get a glimpse of how much better my days at the farm made me feel. But instead, I decided to go ahead and start off with the happy and fulfilling times I had at the farm. Here I am, mesmerized by the sight in front of me. My name is Melike. I arrived to this place where I was healed both physically and mentally. The farm was located 15 kilometers from the town of Bruges in Belgium at the countryside. The top floor of this bakehouse that you see was my home for the duration of my stay. I was the first person here for the Back to Rural project and the sole participant for a while. So I guess I could say that the animals at the farm were my only friends for the first 10 days or so. Being alone for the first couple of days was hard, but that was what made me realize I forgot what it was like to take a moment and listen to myself. That's also when everything started to make sense, and when I figured out that rural living was not only about farming, but was being with nature and returning to nature. So I spent some quality time with myself for that time, being knowing that I had another amazing 45 days ahead of me. Here are my heroes, Diederik the wise man and Martin the courageous boy. I have learned a lot from both, so much that I cannot list all here, but here are some examples. I want to start with the beanstalks, what we started with Martin. I feel my first work days at the farm was consumed by the beans. The digging, tying, and planting was laborious, but when they were done, the feeling was pure satisfaction. The resemblance I saw between the beans and myself is the reason they are important to me. More I learned, the more they grew, and when I was leaving for home, they had already flowered. When I got home, Martin sent me a picture of them, my beanstalks. I could still see the beauty before my eyes. Leaving a noticeable mark at the farm from my first week made me feel at home there. Let's talk about CSA De Molik and what was done there. What I enjoyed the most was seeing the pleasure and satisfaction on people's faces and spending time with them while they were harvesting the produce. I spent time with Martin all the way from and through the whole cultivating, growing, planting, weeding and the growth process of farming. I observed and learned what to look for when planting, knowing by the look and feel of things. I learned about pest and disease and how to fight it, and did all this the natural way. Now let's talk about him. A friend of Diederik said a few words about him. It's not that he is doing organic. He is organic. This is the point. That was exactly right. The baking days were my favorite. Starting early in the morning, lighting the fire, giving the dough the right mixture, to settle and waiting for the fire, knowing when to start. The most fascinating part of it is that it's not exact science. It's a feeling and a sense of knowing, just like knowing when the ground is ready for planting. Setting up our market cart at the town center was another great experience. It was something I never experienced even in my home country. Trying to understand what the people want in their language and trying to return their change in euros and cents. Reminding me why I don't like math once again. Anyway, we repeated this 4 or 5 times and I got the hang of it after a while, learning how to set and to present the produce, which is the important part of sales. Here is another part of the farm that was very important to me: the pumpkin and cabbage field of Diederik. With more people on the farm, the long hours on the field got better and better. Reggie and Matthew were my pain and main partners in the field. These pictures of the field for me define the words effort and giving for me. The day when I thought that I learned and knew everything and was ready for this kind of rural life, something happened. We got hit by a storm and we all felt helpless. The other told me something that I will never forget: these words. The moment you feel like you know everything, nature will give you a new challenge and teach you something new. That week, while trying to recover from the storm, we had to say goodbye to the piglets too. Sadness followed sadness. These two indicants made me question my will and how strong I was, and was I going to be able to cope with the rural living? With time, we started to straighten out our moods and the farm. While indoors, we happened to spend more time together, which led to more sharing of personal stories. Eventually, the weather started to take a turn for the better. And we, with the happiness of these newborns, the sounds of children, surrounded the farm. We started to work outside once again. New colors were added to the farm that week too, with Ruth's organic flower project. Bees floated the farm, showing us we were doing things right, so they deserved new homes, which were built. It was time to get back to the course that got delayed by the rain. With the sun in our faces and the freshly grown produce in our bellies, we were happy and smiling once again. The farm felt alive again. With the crew and the volunteers, we once again were barefoot in the dirt. With every moment we spent together and the bread we shared, our bond got stronger and we grew into a family.
Home is wherever I'm with you. Yes, I am home. Home is when I'm alone with you.
I could talk for hours and not be done with the stories about the farm, but the easiest way to say it is that I had a really hard time leaving at the end of my 45 happy days there. Who knows what those moments will bear?